welcome back to Awful Deco. Today we are trying out a new product. It is TotalBoat's Razzo, and this is their acrylic casting resin. It's a water-based resin, and it has the water part and a powder part, and I have not opened this yet, so we're going to unbox this together, and then we're going to make some pretty things. Let's get started. I am so excited to unbox this kit with you. Look at how colorful the box is. The cover is so inspiring and full of ideas. Some may already look familiar to you. We have some trays and blocks. And look at all the goodies that are actually inside the box. It's like Christmas all over again. Let's take a look at the Razzo kit itself. I think that's how you pronounce it, Razzo? Here is the liquid component, and the powder component is much heavier than I expected. But here is what the set looks like. It is a 2-to-1 ratio product, and the instructions are on the back. That makes it easier than a separate instruction card. If you forget, just look at the back for the instructions. It came with some idea cards and lots of pigments. We have all the colors of the rainbow here, along with black and white. I never tried powdered pigments for acrylic resin, so I'm excited to see how these will work. That means that all the pretty color mica powders that I have might actually work with this as well. Not sure how the effects will be, like if we did a hollow powder, but we can also test that out. See, we're already coming up with so many ideas. There's so much to work with here and so many things waiting to be made. Let's take a closer look at the technique cards here. We have smooth surface, dirty pour, terrazzo, marble, and color pull. They write out exactly how to create each technique as in the photos, so it's definitely worth reading. We don't have to worry about running out of ideas. With these cards and all the colors we have, we'll probably run through several kits before we run out of ideas. They provided us with some mixing cups. We have 8-ounce cups and 16-ounce cups. They are already marked with measurements to make it easier for measuring the volume of our material. I love these for my epoxy resin, and I think I'll like these for the acrylic resin as well. They also provided us with a lot of popsicle sticks. Lots of crinkle paper to go with that as well. Next up, we have some scoopers here. They measure up to 50 milliliters. They have other markings as well, but 50 ml is the highest that we can measure up for these. We'll use one for the liquid and one for the powder. Make sure when you're measuring with the scooper, use 2 scoops of powder per 1 scoop of liquid. And it came with a mold. This looks like a planter mold. I've never worked with this actually, even for epoxy, so this is the first time we're going to make something with it. We have a silicone mat here. This is perfect for protecting our work area, and I opened it up, but we'll set it up later because it's a little bit sticky. Another mold we have here, it looks like a square tray mold, and I think that is it. And of course, we're going to have lots of fun with this kit. Before we pour, I just want to show you the other side of the box because this is a really pretty box. You can check out the hashtag TotalBoatRazzo to see what others are making. I'm getting inspired just by looking at the box itself. Alright, let's begin the pour. We have our cup for the mixture, the scoopers to measure out each part, and we are going to try the black and white pigment. I have never been able to make black and white for acrylic resin, so I really want to try these pigments out. First time opening the Razzo, and this is so exciting. The powder looks bright white, so maybe we don't even need to mix in the white pigment, but we'll do it just in case. This is the liquid one. It's sealed to prevent spillage, and it's packaged in a bag, so just be careful not to spill anything. Let's measure out 50 milliliter scoop of the liquid and 2 50 milliliter scoops of the powder. We're going to pour into the molds that came with the kit, and I have no idea how much material we'll need, so if we mix up extras, we can always just make the terrazzo chips for the terrazzo technique. Starting with the black pigment, we are going to add in the powder to get our desired color. I am mixing the color in a little bit at a time, and I am adding the color in before I add in the powder. So this is just the liquid component that is getting mixed with the pigment. I'm not exactly sure of the work time, so that's why I'm mixing the color to just the liquid part. That way the mixture doesn't start to cure as I am adding my colors. Our process will definitely improve as we create more with this material. We're going to do the same with the white pigment and the liquid component. By the way, we're going to do the dirty pour technique on the technique card. I get more of a marble look, probably because I am only using 2 colors. The card says 3 or more, so I actually call this marble, but I think dirty pour is probably the more correct term. Now we're ready to mix in the powder. The instruction says 2 parts powder to 1 part liquid, so we're going to put 2 scoops of powder at 50 milliliters into each of the mixing cup. Since this is our first pour, our very first pour, we will try it without the mixer just to get an idea of how it will turn out. I will try my best to mix it as evenly as I can. It says mix for a minute, and so the black is completely mixed. I had sped up the mixing, so it seems faster in the video, but I did mix it for a minute or so. And now we are going to do the same thing with the white. I think we are ready to pour into our molds now and make some pretty black and white marble pieces. Here are the 2 molds that we are working with. To create the dirty pour technique, we're going to alternate black and white into a 3rd cup and then pour into the molds. I noticed some lumps as I was pouring the colors, so that's probably unmixed powder. I also noticed that it got thick pretty fast, so the work time might be on the shorter end for this. Those are just my observations, so we'll keep that in mind for our next pour. I am not speeding up the pour too much in the editing of this video, so you can get a better idea of what to expect for the thickness, the texture, and working with this new material in general. Do let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I will try my best to answer them. So now I am done with pouring into my molds, and I do have leftover Razzos, so I'm going to scoop out any of those leftovers from the cup and spread them out onto the silicone mat to make them into terrazzo chips. I love the acrylic resin material for this purpose. I mean, I don't really like the sanding part of the terrazzo pieces, but the ability to easily reuse any extras from the acrylic resin is great. Once we're done with this step, we're going to let these pieces fully cure, fully harden, and then be back to demold it. So I just want to say it did take about 3 hours for me. I came back after an hour and it was still liquid. I was worried I might have done something wrong because the instructions said about an hour, but I just left it there for another hour. In the second hour I came back and it was starting to harden, but not completely, so I left it alone for another hour. Then the third hour came along and now we are back to demold it. You know it's hardened when the material just pops right off the sides of the cups, like I am doing here. These can be used as chips for the terrazzo technique as well, so that's why I just let it cure in the cup. The extras that we spread out on the mat are also going to be chips, and we can easily break them off when we clean the mat. And the thinner you spread this layer, the easier it will be to break off the chips. So now let's move on to demolding the pieces, starting with the tray. It feels very easy to demold, and the tray is not sticking to the mold or anything. It doesn't look like there are any pigment stuck to the mold either. And this is our marbling. It's not the prettiest marble, but it looks very smooth. It's almost like two smooth color blocks kind of thing. I want to bring it closer for you to look to see the black, and it's actually pretty dark, even though I felt like it was more of a dark gray in the cup. And notice how there are no white specks because of unmixed powder or anything. I'm very surprised actually, because I was expecting white specks when you saw the white lumps as I was pouring. Maybe we can skip the mixer for this with the TotalBoat Razzo. Let's demold what I think is actually a candle holder now that I look at it closer. It seems very easy to pop off, and this marble effect was more of what I was going for. We have a small bubble, so that's something we'll have to work on in our pouring technique. Maybe we'll have to tap the molds against the table a few more times to shake the bubbles to the surface. Overall, I think this turned out pretty good. I am having so much fun, so let's just jump right into a second pour. Remember this mold that we made in our mold making video? So we're going to pour into that, and this is a small flower shaped dish. I mixed up the Razzo the same way we did in the black and white pour. And again, we are doing the dirty pour because that's probably my favorite technique. We're going with different colors this time, red, blue, and purple. This pour will test out how the Razzo works with our handmade molds and get more practice. I personally prefer handmade molds because it's so much more sturdier and we can bring unique ideas to life. Anyways, let me just point out that this pour is real time, so the mixture is definitely on the thicker end. I poured some, and now I am tapping the mold on the table to level out the Razzo that I poured in. It is a tray mold, so it curves a bit inside the mold. I want to make sure that I am getting the Razzo in the petals as well. Then I add more as needed. This one also took about 3 hours to fully harden, but I wasn't doing any environment testing, so this was just done in the same environment as the black and white marble. Now we are ready to demold the tray. It is fully hardened, and the demolding felt very smooth, and it was easy to demold, not sticking to our mold either, this handmade mold that we made. I was scared the piece would break off because of the curves and the flowers, but it felt pretty sturdy. We do have to let it sit for 24 hours to fully harden though. But look at these colors, it's so vibrant. I'm surprised we were able to get these colors from powdered pigments. I'll have to try the other ones that I have to create different shades as well. This one is a little bit bubbly, but there are no signs of white specks because of the powdered lumps, so we can work on the bubbles. Let me know what you think of the Razzo in the comments below and what you would make with it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed trying out TotalBoat's Razzo with me. I had a lot of fun creating with it, and you already know that we'll be making more with it. So if you have any ideas for what you want to see on this channel, let me know in the comments. And if you have any feedback, also let me know. And I'll see you next time.